My name is Penni Case, and I work at Page Unified School District as the preschool director. I wear many hats there. Not only am I the preschool director, I'm also the special education teacher, itinerant teacher, as well as the educational evaluator and child find coordinator. So I do many things within that program. Page is a rural community, and I work in a rural district there. We border the Utah border, surrounded by national forest land and the vast Navajo Reservation. So if you hear of Lake Powell, that's where we're at. And we have that beautiful scenery around us. When you're thinking about the area that we serve, the area where I work, it encompasses 24,000 square miles of isolated reservation land. And so those are the kids and the population that I serve. And one of the things I've learned working in the community where I work, I've really grown in my knowledge with what that means to our area has developed over the many years of serving here. You know, it's changed from when I first moved here almost 20 years ago. And so when we're looking at that, I've seen the inequity that happens in early childhood. It's very prevalent here in our area and in this remote areas of Arizona. I think sometimes we are the lost people in these remote areas. You know, you hear a lot about things that are happening down in the valley and things that are happening around the state, and it tends to be all down in the valley in Maricopa and in those areas. And so even for us, we're part of Coconino County, and that's still 2 hours away from us. So that's a really different perspective, you know, 2 hours to Flagstaff. So one of the things I think about with this equity of how we serve children in early childhood, one in our community in the area here in Page is we do not have childcare available for our families. We have a few in-home that are not licensed childcare providers that we hear about, but we don't have a place where someone can go and obtain childcare. This has been a real struggle for our businesses. In the years past, we've worked with National Park Service to try and see if we can't solve that along with Quality First and First Things First. I'm working on that, and we still don't have that option here. So that's a really, it's inequitable for our area and for the families that live here, that they don't even have these options available to them to then be able to work, provide for their family, and also have high quality care for their kids. So that's been a really disadvantage of being so rural without those available programs. So it really does impact the economic growth in your cities, in your towns, in your suburbs, everywhere, when there's not quality, affordable childcare for people to have, you know, their child to have the opportunity to go to that and be able to feel safe with their kids there and feel safe leaving and going and providing for their families. I am inspired by everything, actually. I'm inspired this year by the teachers who are working diligently, who are passionate, who are finding a way to connect to these families and these children in this unprecedented time. It's powerful, and you see it and you see them. They are thinkers, they are inventive, they are tremendous at what they're doing. And I'm inspired by the families who have stepped in to try and be part of this educational process that is kind of scary to do and unknown. And they've stepped in to be part of that, and we've seen growth because of it. And then I'm just inspired by the students. You know, children are what bring me joy every single day, and their ability to adjust and to adapt and to find joy in everything that they do. It makes it the greatest place to work. It is the happiest place to work, is an early childhood center. And I think for me, one of the things that I feel so passionate about is inclusion in these early childhood programs. You know, inclusion, I've been so fortunate actually to work in a program that has had an inclusion program for almost 20 years now. We're talking our children with significant developmental needs are in the classroom with our children without those needs. We don't have just a developmental preschool. We are just the preschool program, an early childhood program. And as I've learned, as I've met with colleagues across the state, and I've seen the differences, I think how blessed I am that we have that here, and that's what my district has put the emphasis on, and that they have found it to be important. And as we know with research and all of the information that we have, that inclusion program, no matter what age is powerful. Talk about equity, that is part of our equitable lens. We need to make sure we're including that when we're having these discussions. Currently now, with all of the events that have happened, and we're really bringing this to the forefront of equity, we need to include our special education population, our children who are struggling in other ways, and include them in that and make sure they are part of the discussion, that their needs are part of how we're training our educators and training those who serve children, so that they can be part of the world that everybody else has access to. I think that's one of the things I was drawn to the board as well, is I want the opportunity to go in front of people and I don't want to say convince, but tell the story so that they see the need and the emotional impact that it has, and that early childhood and early childhood care for our children, for our families, is at the forefront of having a successful society. When we take care of our families and we take care of those children, birth and up into that really developmental part, we are building humans who are then going to be going into society and building the society. So we have to put our money and our time and our energy into rethinking what that looks like, and into supporting that process, and not leaving it to just hopefully that it happens. Well, let's just hope it happens, or that's just the parent's job, or those type of things. And there's a point to that. But there's a bigger picture here, and we can learn from other countries who've done this well.